Welcome back to the Walk-Ons. I'm your Spinnaker 2020 class Hall of Famer, Drake Donald here with the rising up-and-coming sports editor, John Watson. Josh, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, doing good. It's a good day. We had a lot of baseball being played yesterday. That was a crazy day. It felt like every other game, that was on ESPN was either baseball or it was just not hockey. How are you doing, Drew?
All right, man. I'm still enjoying my Tampa Bay Rays win yesterday. The win today, they clinched the series and go on to play the Yankees or Indians. So,
Yeah, a lot of three-game series being held right now. It's kind of an interesting time in the MLB. How what was your favorite storyline from yesterday's? Which yesterday was September 29th. Everyone over, there. Yesterday was Wednesday. It's not Thursday, as this post would say. But what was your favorite storyline from yesterday?
probably how bad the Twins are. The Astros played the Twins, and the Astros had a late three-run rally in the ninth inning. But John Watson, the Twins have lost 17 straight postseason games.
I think
So
I heard about that on the post game show. I think
it's
A-Rod and Mark Teixeira were ripping them for that.
it's I don't, it's that's just terrible. How do you lose 17 straight postseason games?
Yeah, they were saying that MLB is kind of like it's not like the NBA where the better team wins most of the time. You really think that they're going to win a game, inside of those 17 games, but they don't. So you're like, what is there like a losing culture? Is there like a something in their minds? I think that's pretty interesting. But I think my favorite storyline, the Twins, okay, they have Kenta Maeda, I think is his name, their starting pitcher. He was really good
Mhm.
last night. He only gave up like one run, I believe, right, to the
Yeah.
Astros,
Mhm.
and then their relievers came in, and this is where things get dicey for these postseason teams. The relievers just don't show up. But I think one of my favorite storylines was the game I was watching, the White Sox and the Athletics, two teams that are kind of similar in that they don't really have that much salary cap. But the team of the White Sox had a great pitching day yesterday. Giolito had a perfect game going into the seventh. And Giolito, man, he used to be on the Nats, and he wasn't anything. And then we traded him away for some other player that we probably won a World Series with, but whatever. But yeah, I think the White Sox are going to be interesting if they win tomorrow's game.
Did you see Jolito's teammates in high school?
I think I've heard about him. Who
Went to
were
high,
they?
went to high school with Max Fried and Jack Flair.
Yeah, Max Fried, your favorite Braves pitcher, right?
Yeah, it's the best curveball in the National League. Just saying.
The best curveball in the National League. I mean, I'd have to give it to my boy Patrick Corbin for that one, but I kid. I don't. He wipes out on the curveball 99% of the time. But other than that, the Lightning, of course, won the Stanley Cup on Tuesday. I bet everyone's heard about this because, golly, it's Florida. Our news gets around. But I know you're not the biggest hockey guy, but what was your reaction to them winning the Stanley Cup?
It's good to know that another team in Florida won a chip. I have a beef, John, with bandwagoners, and in South Florida, there's somebody mind the Heat, but bandwagoners, it's disgusting. It's like, oh my gosh, the Heat are amazing. I'm like, listen, you guys don't even know where they were like last year. It's like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, hero, bam, and I'm like, yeah, cool, but like, they're fake fans. I'm not I don't like it.
The Lakers 10th in the West last year. The Heat 10th in the East last year. For this season, they go, it's an NBA Finals matchup, and bandwagoners for the Heat. I have a friend. He's a big Heat fan, and he's like, man, if you went through all those times when the Heat, went from the LeBron D Wade phase to this phase now, and missing all those playoffs, you kind of deserve to reap the benefits of the being Eastern Conference champions, and it's interesting. I like their team, but I don't think they're gonna stand well against the Lakers.
Sure, they missed the Tyler Johnson and Hassan Whiteside days.
I'm not too sure if they miss those anymore with their boy Tyler Hero. Speaking of Tyler Hero, man, that dude was a hooper in high school. Man, his high school highlights, those went off. I mean, they're not like Zion's, but still, he's a hooper. Would you say who's your pick for the NBA Finals?
Um, just because I can't. Actually, no. I usually don't like the Lakers, but there is one guy that shines my eyes, and that is Alex Caruso. So if he can lead the team to a championship, I'll be happy with that.
The Texas A&M product himself, the NCAA championship March Madness superstar himself, Alex Caruso,
The Caruso.
the Caruso, the
Mhm.
the Lake Show, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They're all just great players, and I just think either the star power is going to be too much for the Heat, or the Heat are going to have to rely on Hero, and then their bench is going to be like, I don't know. You have any good storylines from the world of sports these days?
Yeah, close to my heart. My Falcons can't close a game out to save their lives. They're 0-3. It's not
Oh
nothing
my!
really to brag about, but it's worth noting because we're a sports talk show. Yeah, we've had back-to-back double-digit leads we've lost in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. So if is Dan Quinn gonna get fired? I hope so. And I can't know why he's still on the team.
Mhm. Our boy Deacon Shield on Twitter, big Falcons fan. I always love seeing what he's reacting to the tweets or the Falcons losing so many games and all these come from behind victories for these other teams. It's almost standard that the Falcons are going to blow a lead these days, but you some of the Falcons are standing behind Dan Quinn and saying that he's a good coach. It's just they're not performing. What's your reaction to all the players?
Well, since the Super Bowl, the Falcons have been 24-27. So I mean, that was what 3 years ago. So I mean, if you can't get an above average record in that span of time, like I don't know why I still on the club. Their offense is still legit. Matt Ryan's legit. Ridley's been insane this year. Hayden Hurst looks good. Gurley looks decent. But the defense, like, they keep allowing these touchdowns. Like, there was this one terrible play where it was like a pass to Allen Robinson, and like a guy barely dodged him, and he goes off for a 40-yard touchdown. And they brought in Nick Foles on Sunday for no reason. He goes off against us. So I don't know. And they announced that he's now the starting QB for Chicago. So Mitch is like, stuck at backup now.
We've seen that before. We've seen that with the Eagles, comes in, wins games. But the Jags, he couldn't do it. I mean, like what the heck, Nick Foles? I got your jersey, bro. It's not the big jersey, it's just like the $25 Target jersey, but I have a Nick Foles Jaguars jersey. So for him to, come into the games and be like, okay, I'll save you guys once again, it's kind of annoying for being a Jaguars fan over here. Any
And the
yeah. What do
Jazz
you
got to
say?
get better too. After their game on Thursday against the Dolphins, they got to get better on defense.
Yeah. I feel like if every time I go on NFL Network before a game and they always make their picks, they're like, all right, Jaguars 35-18, Jaguars 29-20. They're always making like game predictions. They all had Jaguars winning that game. And for them to come out and just like lose it by that large of a margin, even though it was a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what the heck, Jags? You beat the Colts week 1. The Colts are now 2-1, I believe. And like, what happened? Like Gardner, do you want this job, Gardner? We'll give it to Josh Dobbs. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore.
No,
But
it's the backup is your old Buccaneers quarterback, Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon, man, gotta love it, gotta love it. But I guess the team might have been like, hey man, we kind of want Trevor Lawrence. You might want to lose some games, my guy. But
Also, how about the Broncos decided to start Brett Rypien, who has no starts in his career, over Bortles? I'm like, listen, man, you have a high caliber Blade Bortles ready to play and start the game against the Jets, who are terrible. Give him the ball, not Brett Rypien, the Boise State grad.
I was confused. I was watching the Broncos play the Bucks, and they had what's his face come in, and of course Drew Lock is injured, so he's not gonna be able to make the game. But they had the one guy come in. He didn't throw good, so they brought in the backup, and I was like, okay, it's Blake Bortles time.
Yeah.
No, what? Blake Bortles has NFL experience.
Mm-hmm.
He has championship mentality. He went to an AFC championship game. And you're
Yeah,
telling me that you're not going to bring him in?
He beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
He beat the Steelers in the playoffs. He beat Ben Roethlisberger in a good Steelers team in the playoffs in
And
2017.
and he beat Tom Brady, I think, in 2000, I think in 18, I think, and then like a home game a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think it was like 17-10, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he has NFL experience that none of these guys have, and it's showing. Jeff Driscoll, he couldn't come in and win the game because he didn't have experience. The Bucs
Yeah.
were able to use their defense to get to him. I don't know. The Bucs defense does look good now. They do. What would you say is the best team in the league right now?
I think there's three, I think, elite teams right now. There's the Chiefs, there's the Packers, and there's the Seahawks. I think those three teams are very good. Just the best defense, I'll probably go with the Chiefs defense because they stymied Lamar Jackson last Monday. Lamar had like 98 passing yards, like 40 rushing yards. Wasn't a normal Lamar Jackson game. So I think that's what makes the Chiefs set apart is that they're better defense than those three elite teams.
I've said it before. Last season they didn't have a stellar defense, and the Chargers took advantage of that a few times, and smaller teams took advantage of that. But they figured it out when the postseason came and were able to kind of use their defense late in games to get stops. And if they play a complete game like they have been with the defense, then they'll win 17-0. They'll go undefeated. But if they allow those easy touchdowns like the game against I think it was the Chargers a few days ago. It was 2 weeks ago, I believe. They only
that was the Herbert game.
The Herbert factory. I mean, their offense wasn't looking good that day. Pat Mahomes didn't have a stellar day like he usually does, but I don't know. I guess we'll see if the combination of offense and defense makes them a scary team this year, but I think they're beatable.
I will say the best quarterback I've seen play those got to be Russell Wilson this year.
Russell Wilson, I'll give it to him. He's MVP caliber this year. Yeah, Drew Brees is never going to win an MVP just because of this year.
Yeah.
But if Russell Wilson has Russ ever won an MVP? I don't think so. Right?
No, never.
No. He could if he continues, doesn't get hurt. It's going to be a good MVP candidate, I believe. Last segment of the show, freezing cold takes, I guess. You got any picks for the World Series?
Before I do that, I'm gonna call out you and Zach Yearwood because you guys could not stand Josh Allen. Like, oh, he fumbles on, he can't get completions. This man is improving every week in Western New York. So we're gonna see some respect on that man's name throughout this season.
I'll give it to Josh Allen. He's a good baller. He's just another big white quarterback who's in a league full of other guys that do the same thing as him. He's just figured out a way to do better and running the ball. He's a really good scrambler, I guess you would say. He's really accurate with his arm. He's got a big arm too. I think he's one of the best throwing power in the league on Madden or something. So I'll give him to him. He's winning games too, so he's doing a lot better.
I think his best comp is probably Big Ben, I think.
Yeah. I'll see how Josh Allen does because Buffalo they have a good group of wide receivers this year. Stephon Diggs and company. I don't remember the other guys' names, but they almost had Antonio Brown. We'll talk about that another day. But I don't know. I like Buffalo and Stephon Diggs. Hopefully, will do well for me in fantasy.
For World Series picks, you asked.
Yeah.
My heart says Rays and Braves, but I guess reality, I want to see Rays and San Diego. I think that's a good kind of clash of two different teams because Padres are more power based and they have some good arms. But the Rays are probably the best equipped team I think for the playoffs. They have depth. 13 guys have saves on that team. They have insane depth of bench. Like guys like Randy Rosarina. He's like an out of the blue guy, gets triples like it's nothing. So I want to say Rays and Padres, and I say Rays and 6.
I definitely think this is the year of the farm systems finally working for these teams because the Rays have brought up so many guys through this through the season that are like no-namers, and then they come and produce. And I think it's interesting because other teams like the Athletics have done that same thing. And you see no-namers on the team every day, and they're producing. But it's nice to see that. But I think that the Dodgers are going to win the National League just because they kind of need to. They'll be like the Lightning this year. I think they're going to win it all if they stay healthy and their starting pitching is good. But if we have another what do you call it, Dodgers Astros World Series, I think it could get chippy. That's a series that I would want to see.
Mhm.
Realistically, if two like smaller teams like the Rays and the whatever you call them, the Padres. I think Padres are National League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Padres and Rays. I think that could be a really fun series as well.
Also, probably on the Braves roster for the playoffs, they have Pablo Sandoval now.
The Panda, I believe, right? He's
Just randomly, like he's there for, I guess, for depth, but like it's a first choice to add a guy like him for the playoffs.
all right, all right. Well, for the Walk-Ons, I'm John Watson with sports editor, used to be Hall of Famer Drew McDonald.
I'm still Hall of Famer, so I'm not used to be.
Used to be sports editor, comma Hall of Famer
Yeah.
Drew McDonald. All right, I'll see you on next time. Peace
Peace.
out.